Hey, unfamiliar territory cousins. What's up with y'all? It's a more Perry here again. Listen, y'all, we are on episode 6. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. You already know what you gotta do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for listening and viewing so far. We really appreciate it. Y'all, this episode is special. We just celebrated Mother's Day. So shout out to all the moms out there. We have a really beautiful and special episode in store for y'all. Shout out to my mom specifically. Babe, I love you so much. That's my girl. And you know, Ma and I, we turn up. So go ahead, get your mother, get you a drink, and do that, okay? And tune into the episode. Bye. Man, y'all, we just got to celebrate probably not a lot of people's favorite holiday, but definitely one of mine. We just celebrated Mother's Day, man.
Yes.
Dang, shout out to the moms.
Shout out to the moms out there.
Shout out to all the restaurants that are booked. Or were booked, I should say.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, because still booking, still trying to make up for what didn't happen on Sunday.
Listen.
And look, all the fellas really be like, so why it ain't never packed on Father's Day? Why it's only packed on Mother's Day?
That's because the grill's going to sell for Father's Day and everybody be on grilling. You got the links out there on the grill for Father's Day, okay?
Every father got a new tool case and a new grill for Father's Day. But it is, it was good to celebrate moms. My mother hit a milestone before Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. My mother became a member of the greatest sorority ever, that I would like to say is the greatest sorority ever. She became a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So happy too.
Yes.
Tears of joy.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
Been a long time coming, as she should.
And, you know how you want something for like 40 years. Like, that's how long it was. My mom didn't even finish school at first. Right. My mom wanted to be a singer and very great at it. Very great. Was touring. Still had a job, but was touring and things. And, you know, she moved up the ranks in the government with no degree, which I thought was from Jump Street. Like, especially her starting off in the 80s. Right. Like, so just thinking, or 70s, I should say. So just thinking about the amount of perseverance to still desire to have something 40 years later, you know, just show like if you want something, you'll eventually go get it. And so it's been about 5-6 years now since my mom went from having no degree to 2 degrees.
Yep.
So she the only person in the house with 2 degrees. So it's like
she had to prove something
real
quick. She said, let me go get that real quick.
Yeah. You know,
okay.
And so so she went and said, you know, look, I want to finish and I want to be a Delta. And both goals are met. So that was the best thing I say leading up to Mother's Day. That's dope. But it got me thinking too, like, what are some ways that I was able to kind of take away the amount of perseverance in situations that, you know, our moms have shown us, because just kind of seeing how our moms are like, you know, some moms got to be breadwinners. Some moms, you know, they come home, they cook, they clean, and still got to do homework, and, you know, still trying to be the best version of themselves, be wives, and, you know, or single parents. So, you know, just salute to all the moms out there, man, for real.
I like how your mom went and did that for her. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Exactly.
That's so important. You got to go out here. You got to do it for you too.
Yeah.
Like, we take care of everybody else. You got to do it for yourself too. So
And I'm not gonna lie, it was hard.
It was.
It was hard because I had to kind of, I'm sitting on the outside, like, you know, I'm being the child and not a parent. And my mom is so used to naturally having to prepare for everyone else, right? So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, I'm like, Mom, it's okay if we don't get this done. Like, you don't have to go do this for you. Like, go get your nails done. Go get your eyebrows done. Go get some self-care in. And sometimes, you know, we don't pay attention to the amount of time that our mothers don't necessarily get to do things for themselves because they're so naturally worried about all of us or everything around, or oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I forgot to do this. And I know if I'm not doing it, then nobody else gonna do it. So I gotta do it. And they, you know, the old cliche we used to hear would be like, hey, yo, if you want something done, do it yourself. So, you know, just trying to convince her to just take the time, you know, and like, yo, it's okay. I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's difficult.
That's what's up.
As far as like with my mom, so what I learned from her is definitely like perseverance, because like growing up, she had to raise her younger brothers and sisters, and she was the oldest. So, you know what I'm saying, I feel like she missed out on having a free childhood that any other person would have.
Wow.
And then she had me when she was 20 going on 21. So it's like, I just feel like she's missed out on a lot.
Wow.
So what I take in from that is just like continue to work hard, and it like motivates me to really like grind so that I could have enough so that she's able to go out and see things she hasn't done and catch up on a lot of things that she hasn't caught up on.
Yeah.
So is she like able to do that now, like where she is in her life? Is she like able to experience the things that she might not have been able to experience, or she's still like working? I don't know if you have like younger siblings. I know you got your younger sister.
Yeah, I have a younger sister.
Anybody else? Oh, yeah, I didn't know.
So like my sister, it was her first year in college and like
so
out of the house. So,
yeah.
you know, my family has picked up on actually doing more things.
Yeah.
But my mother is like working on her master's right now. So it's
Okay.
like,
hey.
so it's like she still hasn't, you know what I'm saying, like done a lot. And it's like her mentality still is work.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Not work
she
like
having,
physically go to work, but I gotta get there, I gotta do this, like instead of living free. It's like she hasn't been able to live free yet. Yeah.
I
But it's
kind of,
coming.
I kind of, it's like
Awesome.
just being able to take those steps, to actually doing what you want to do in life, right? And as you said, like, you know, not being able to kind of do the things that moms want to do, you kind of put me in a situation where I used to have like remorse in my life because not playing ball for me sat me in a situation where I was like, I just let my parents down. I let my mom down. Mom was putting me in all of these camps and, you know, sending me to all of these different places. And then I never get a chance to actually live up to the dream of making sure that they get an ROI on the investment that they made. And so I think for me, I felt so much more disdain in making sure that I hit the mark.
Yeah.
Because on so many different occasions, trying to get my mom what she deserved out of everything that was put in, I was kind of like, I failed.
You definitely feel disappointed.
You know? And I was like, you know, well, what's another, it took me a while to understand how to honor the fact that I didn't hit the mark of what was invested. Like, I mean, all of the traveling days, all of the money that was spent, the time that was taken away because of being a mother and trying to have the best out of it as a kid, like giving it to your kid where, you know, you probably wanted to go out that night or you probably wanted to invest on something. You probably wanted to, you know what I'm saying? And
sacrifices.
All the sacrifices that was made for me not to be able to fulfill the end goal of what I felt like was my responsibility. So I've always, you know, thank God, like, you know, my mother is not one of those people that be like, yo, I gotta like, well, you better go figure this out. Because, you know, you got some parents that really throw they kids out. They throw them out at 18 and be like, all right, cool.
Figure it out for yourself.
I'm done. Here you go.
That's what I was kind of going to ask you, though, while you were saying all of that. Is like, you felt like you kind of like let her down or your family down in that instance, but like her reaction to that happening was like being there and supporting you through it no matter what. Right. So I just was thinking about that.
1,000.
That's beautiful.
1,000%. She was the reason why.
Still getting you gifts, that medicine ball.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Still, just
Facts.
recently.
Yeah.
So recently, I've been getting back into, you know, a little bit of rhythm within the basketball game. And there was I think it's like a 3-pound weighted ball that I wanted to get to start working on handles a little bit. You know, I ain't trying to go
get that pat
pro,
together.
whatever. You know, I got to get it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold
Together.
on. The shade that came from this right here.
No shade. I'm just saying the way the ball will get the pat together and get you the little goggles where you
Sips
can't
orange
look
water.
down.
Look,
when
you
you're
see
dribbling,
it?
too.
Sips orange water.
Yeah. Nah, so the ball was like 80 bones, and it took like 3 months to get here. I never knew she ordered it.
Wow.
And so randomly she was like, yeah, something came in the mail for you the other day. And I was like, all right, now go look. And the whole ball, like, that I actually wanted. And I was like, I didn't even know you ordered this. So it's just like, dang, like moms really do be listening. Like they pay attention.
They do.
Yeah, they
my
make sure
God.
they make sure we're good for sure. I can speak on mine.
Yeah.
Y'all must be saving a whole little 10 minutes for me because I could go all day about
on it,
mine.
Prince.
Well, let's go in on moms then,
That
right?
is my baby. But just like y'all, similar to your moms, like how they just taught you like perseverance. Like I think when we're younger, we always just see our moms as just moms. Like when you get older, you get to really, like you really should take time to get to know them for who they are because they're people and they're humans too. So like my mom and I, we're very close. Like she literally like my best friend.
Side, yep. You
like,
know it.
honestly, and
Because I look like her.
Right.
I'm
But,
over 22.
Yeah, like perseverance and everything. I've seen my mom go through so much from the loss of my dad.
Yeah.
Woo, and our family went through a lot with that. But seeing her, you know, kind of working her way back through things, similar to like how your mom get her master's, and you know your mother got both of her degrees.
Yeah.
My mother just passed her title insurance producer exam.
Come on here.
Okay. Shout out to Biv. Shout out to Biv.
Shout
That's
out.
my baby.
Yeah. I love it.
So you know, my mom's in her 60s and she's still climbing. And the thing that she said recently, just talking about it, is just like, you know, she's trying to instill in us that, you know, we can go out here and get it. So she like, I can't be out here preaching something and not doing it myself.
And it's never
So
too late.
that's what she wanted to do, and she made it happen. And she's retired, so she wants to do something that's not gonna have her clocking in and sitting at a desk from 9 to 5, but something where she can go make some money and impact lives. So
That's what's up.
She's awesome.
Yeah,
She's fun.
Yeah.
Like we kick it.
Yeah.
Man, I love my mommy.
You know, it's crazy because like the key in all of everything is realizing that one, we don't know the amount of time that we have on earth, right? And
That's
then the amount of time that we are given, sometimes we don't take full advantage of it. And just to see how we get to express how our moms are still chasing after everything that's meant for them, right? And matter of fact, I'll say it differently. Not even chasing, more like alignment. Because I had to learn that in this season for myself personally. Is that, you know, when you align yourself, then everything that's not meant to be chased will get out of the way, and the things that are supposed to be for you will automatically start coming towards you.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, to see how our moms are moving from master's degrees to title insurances to Delta, it's like, and they're in there. They're still. I look at it like it's still your prime, right? Like you
Really,
you
like,
in your
it's just a different season.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's
Still
like
priming.
it's like they probably figured that it couldn't have been them having their own business. It couldn't have been them doing this and that, because it couldn't be them who, you know what I'm saying, like we're famous or whatever the case may be, because we have like social media now. So we're motivated. We see people, successful entrepreneurs all the time. We see people with this and with that. We see people. So it's like, we can get to it. They didn't grow up like that. So it's like now they even see hope in us. They see us doing things. So they're like, oh, if my child can do it. Oh yeah, why don't I just tap into you know what I'm saying, what I want to do? Like,
It's kind of crazy how that reverse engineered, because you know, like it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like we saw all the people that were posting their moms over the weekend. They like, they hype,
Right.
they, you know, they doing everything. And then it's like, you know, okay, cool. And then after Mother's Day is over, you probably don't see their mom ever again, or like,
Oh, she called them out.
like you're not good with your moms this week, so okay, whatever.
To each his own. Everybody got their own
And
relationship.
it is, and I think that I know, because y'all know I had a lost in the family recently, and it's like, as I get to sit back and still have time with my mom, right? And my mom's mom, my grandmother, is still living, right? It's one of those things where I still get to see the dynamic of the generation.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get to see their generation's dynamic.
Nope.
Like, so I know I'm privileged. I know I'm blessed in a situation to be able to go down the road of, I can still call my grandmother on my mom's side. I can't call
That's
my
awesome.
grandmother on my dad's side. Both my grandparents on my dad's side is passed. So I'm like, to still have a relationship and learn from the older generation and hear from the differences of how, what they would have probably done in this social media era. Like, would they, like, my grandmother is hilarious. It's like, she need her own sitcom at this point, because hearing, like, they just be out here shaking and gyrating. They don't put no clothes on no more. Like, what we doing? And it's like, okay, but you know, grandma, that's just, they just expressing themselves. Well, we didn't do that. I said, well, grandma, yes, you did, because I can show y'all doing the bump and the butt and all these other, and they will hold
They
you
was
to
back-
the situation.
They was back there swinging back in them
Right.
days.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They just ain't had nothing to post it on.
Right.
So they
Exactly. But them
act like they
VHS I
innocent.
heard
They
was
had
popping.
that jump. Like,
they innocent, right?
They pulling themselves.
that's what they had.
It's shots
okay?
fired left and right on this.
We love y'all though.
And
But nah,
yeah,
like
yo.
I only got to meet one grandparent, and that was my
Wow.
father's mom. Like, I didn't get to meet any of my other grandparents, so I can only imagine the kind of conversations that I would have had. Like, she passed away when I was in 10th grade.
Wow.
So yeah, I wish I could have them conversations. But you know, I tap into my friends' grandparents.
Yeah.
I will sit and chop it up. Okay.
Yes, and it's
will.
crazy because now I'm glad you brought that up, because I started thinking too, like, as you said it, there are so many people that stand in as mothers. Right? So shout out to all the godparents, the godmothers, the grandparents,
the aunts.
you know, all of the people that have stepped in the maternal role, because, you know, sometimes even while the mother is still living.
I was even gonna say, like Princess Mom, how she pretty much had to raise her siblings, even your older
Prime
siblings,
example, yeah.
that had to fulfill that position.
I wonder,
that
and
too.
I'm on, do y'all even get to have those types of conversations, like, about what that was even like, about having to kind of step in at an early age and being in that position where it's like not feeling guilty about losing that time? Because I can only imagine, like, what that's like.
We've never, to be honest, like we've never had that conversation.
Okay.
So I think that's a good conversation that I'm going to have with her.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Most
it's just
people probably don't even think about it for real.
yeah,
you know?
like she
True.
just did what she had to do,
Yeah.
but maybe she probably don't even think about that. You
That's
know
the
what
thing
I'm
about
saying?
women,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
We do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Like, you just
Facts.
put the hat on and you go to
Yeah.
work.
Facts. And I learned
That's
that. I learned that about one of my mother's line sisters most recently. My mother has line sisters. I have to get used to that. But no, I learned that about one of my mother's line sisters. She always wanted to be a Delta, but she had a full ride to, I believe, Syracuse, and she had to turn it down because about a month in, her mom passed away. And so she couldn't accept it. And they were trying to take her sister, and she had to step in as the maternal role because she didn't want to go and put the sister in foster care. She didn't want them to be split. So she took the step back and worked and paid her way through school. She still went to school, but Delta was the farthest thing from her mind. Her sister immediately was the closest thing to her mind. And so I applaud every female that steps in to roles that they're not necessarily prepared for.
Right.
Yeah.
That the process of adaptation for women comes faster sometimes than men. Not from the learning curve, but from what we automatically feel as though we're naturally supposed to do. Like, I naturally don't want to see you lose. Genuinely want to see you win. So if that means that I have to pull away from what that means, like, I don't necessarily feel like I'm losing because I'm helping you win. And I think, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Like, I'll take away from me if that's going to elevate you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And I think some people don't, too many times, the one thing I've learned from my mom is that too many times people look for things to happen because it's supposed to, and then there's like, okay, well, now it's your turn to do it for me. And sometimes we got to get out of those ways of just being able to just do things genuinely because of the fact that we naturally just want to be able to see people win, right? And we've spoken on that, but not from the maternal aspect of it, where how we got to see our moms have to step into roles, and godparents step into roles, and aunts step into roles where they necessarily was like, you know, I ain't never had to raise no kid before. Some of them are like first time parents stepping in those roles where they kind of inherited the child, right? And so I look at it like, you know, how does that, I can only imagine at the placement of a godparent, like, and my parents were like, yo, we're going to have 2 sets. Y'all going to have 2 people that y'all can rely on. So both my brother and I have 2 sets of godparents where, you know, we have one on the left side of the family, one on the right side of the family, right? Mom and dad.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so that way it's like we can build relationships and still have a relationship that's connected to both sides of the family. And I don't think some people think like that sometimes. I think it's like, all right, yeah, you the godmother. Yeah. You the godfather.
I think that's more, I mean, I'm grateful that y'all had that, but I feel like just having one godparent, male and female, is like kind of old school. Because now, like, I see it more like current now, where you'll have 2 from each side, so that both sides is represented. Most people
that makes sense.
It's most people just kind of like being selfish. Well, if you gonna have godparents for them, I'm gonna have my godparents for them too. But I don't know. It don't have to necessarily be a negative connotation with it. But yeah, I think I see that a lot more now too, where it's 2 sets on each side, like from his side and from her side, or what have you. So
I think we'd be remiss if we did not acknowledge the fact that there are some mothers that are hurting on this day too.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Mothers that are hurting from possibly losing their mom someday, because Mother's Day isn't always a positive.
I have cousins going through that and lost their mom to COVID.
Wow.
September of 2020. My auntie, my mom's oldest sister.
Yeah.
So yeah,
same
here.
here.
Can relate to that one.
Wow.
Same here. My cousins. Well, my aunt, my mom's sister, had passed away back in like 98, and she had 3 kids. So my aunts had stepped in and took care without even being a mother yet. Stepped in and took care of my cousins.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, some of these situations that are happening with, like, COVID that took away people that were genuinely good people.
Brutality.
And great mothers. And some relationships were probably just starting to get restored. Some people probably, some people just now probably met their mom, right? They're still been trying to, like, in this season, I feel like a lot of people really started to dive into their genealogy and their ancestry of, like, you know, we're losing people fast, so let me step out on the edge and see if I might find out something about myself or my family or my mother, like, does she exist? I recently saw a post from Willie Moore Jr., who he is pro-adoption because he was an adopted kid. And he recently, as of, I think, probably within the last week, met his mother for the first time, and he thought she was dead. And so it's just in this season being able to see how people have taken full advantage of what was meant to be like a hell on earth situation. And don't get me wrong, because in some families, hell still exists on earth because of how COVID came and took over everything, right? And so I look at not only just COVID, but all of the social injustices.
Yeah.
Like how mothers are burying their sons at 12 years old, 14 years old, 2 years old, 9 years old. There was a kid that got killed in D.C. by a stray bullet. The mother had to bury her son. There's so many people that like, and even in Elizabeth City, North Carolina right now, Andrew Brown Jr. was somebody's son. And so now this mother probably has to bury her son, right? There's Tamir Rice. All of these people, Ahmaud Arbery's mother, right? Like even Breonna Taylor's mother.
Right.
There's so many, Sandra Bland's mother, right? There's so many people with Trayvon Martin's mother, right? Like there's so many people that had to bury it where they still can't get the plaudits or the hand claps, the hugs, the kisses, the warm, the makeshift macaroni necklaces and the cards from their kids
Sunday
because
dinners.
they're burying them, right? And so it just made me really start to feel like we got to do better because we still have a lot of days of Mother's Day to give, right? Like, you know, natural causes are gonna happen no matter what. No man knows the day or the hour, but kids are supposed to, in the eyes of it, bury their parents. Parents are burying their kids that ain't even past what's the one of them sing along shows, and you know, kids not even past Little League or haven't even been to prom. Don't even know what college look like. Haven't even fully invested themselves in trade school. Will never be able to have kids. There's no grandkids that leaves the legacy for the mother to still hold on to a piece of the kid. It's just, so I mean, and I want y'all take on it. Like, what do y'all feel like in the moments of now, like as we look back on these social injustice moments that have happened for Mother's Day specifically? Could you imagine having to, because we're not parents, but could you just imagine what our parents might feel if somebody said we're gone?
I feel like my mom would probably have a whole mental breakdown.
I think my mother would be like, put me in there.
If it
with
happened
you.
to any of us,
Yeah.
it would be really, really bad. But
I ain't even thinking about it.
You can't even
you
fathom
can't, yeah,
the thought or the idea of it. You know what I mean?
And I wonder, I also wonder, I mean, go ahead, because
I just feel like, I know, like, when I start having children, like, I'm going to just try my best to keep them woke to this, what's going on in the world. But, I mean, you can go any kind of way, but it's just, I don't know. Like, I just don't know how I would react.
Even
like,
make it through.
It would just be tough. Like,
I don't think there's any way that any parent could ever prepare for something like that.
or ever get over it. Like,
Yeah.
I think about it as this happens, as we were talking about this. My aunt and uncle, we had to bury my cousin, one of the best ballers in the DC area, Carrington Carter. We had to bury my cousin because of gun violence. And I mean, going to Georgia, he was in Georgetown for his master's, becoming a sports agent. And gun violence took him out. And so we sit back and we're like, this can't be real. What you talking about? And I mean, every year it gets hazy because it's like right after Christmas, it's like, okay, woo, high, then really, really low. And so you get to this place where you like, what are the conversations that we have to have? Because we already know those conversations aren't being had in certain households, right? Our conversations are different. We have to tell our future kids, and our parents had to tell us, when you get pulled over, you 10 and 2. Our mothers had to keep your composure. Call me. Let me know when you make it in the house. Right. Just drop a letter, right? You might not have to call me because you know you be coming in late, but I just need to know you all right. right? I need to know you made it home. And the fear that happens from our mothers especially, because the interpersonal connection that we have from them birthing us is like, that's my baby, no matter what, no matter how old we get, that's my baby, right? And so just having those thought processes of, what is it that we think, and we grew up in the community playing sports, right? And you got kids getting killed playing their sport. So I'm just curious as to what is it that we what role are we supposed to fill? What role are we supposed to do when it comes to what's supposed to be said, what's supposed to be done? How can we be better influencers in our community to be like, it's not cool to want to be out here in the streets. It's cool to kind of, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we got to admit we put some of this stuff on ourselves, trying to be cool.
Definitely.
You know?
That's where most of the violence is coming from. Trying to be cool, flexing, trying to prove a point. Like, it's not worth it at all.
At all. and that thing, and this is the thing, we don't think about our parents while we're doing it. We don't think about our moms while we're doing it. And sometimes
you don't
caught up.
You don't think it could happen to you.
Right. Invisible too. A lot of people think they're invisible.
Yeah,
these
you don't
days
think
too.
it could happen to you. Like,
and I think for me, seeing the amount of work that my mom put in to make sure that we were good. And I'm blessed to have both my parents still, right? And married. No scandals.
Facts.
Yeah.
Big deal, right?
Yeah.
And I look at people like Savannah James being married to LeBron James, right? I know it's Mother's Day, but I gotta give flowers to LeBron for allowing his wife to just be his wife.
And he's never been caught up
and never been in nothing. And never been in nothing. Right? So, just being able to have those examples where the mom just gets to be the mom, and they probably struggled all the way to the top, right? And so, I just think, if anything, we have to be more mindful of the time that we have on earth, how we respect our parents, and how we can honor them by still doing, because if I had to go biblical for a second, train up a child in the way he should go when he gets older, he will not depart. He or she will not depart from it. And so for me, it's like, we going to go and do stupid stuff. They know that. Right. But they just hoping that what they taught us is there while we're doing the dumb stuff, right? And so it got me thinking, like, hooping, I probably got told a few things. Like, yeah, don't do that. Yep, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Still did that. Still did that, right? But then I also started thinking about, how my mom always, like I said in the beginning, wanted to be a singer and never got to fulfill her dream. And so I always used to say, I don't want to be the person in my life where I didn't at least fulfill the dream.
I mean, try.
Exactly, and get there.
Yeah.
Right? Because my mom still can sing her ass off. I got to say it that way to this day. So it's like, okay. And so me getting on radio was like, I did it. I did this for us. I did this for us. Like, that's my ROI. Like,
and the thing is, like, what people have to understand is, like, you can't measure success by how far somebody goes. As long as you're happy doing it, as long as you've impacted somebody, and as long as you can still do it, like, I feel like you're successful. You don't have to be Beyonce or any of that. Like, you can sing in the church,
right,
and not make no money from
singing in the shower.
Like,
yeah.
So.
And I think too, the other thought process of it is, and I'll even pose this in y'all direction of us being former athletes, being mothers was frowned upon.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, y'all remember the entire story of Cheryl Swoops? She didn't get her MVP.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, and I look at it as if like a lot of my friends that I've grown up with that played basketball. I'm 30, do not have children.
That's a blessing.
So it's not though. I mean, it is.
Is that time clock? Is that clock?
Oh, it is, but it ain't. And I want to say like, I have friends that didn't play basketball that have started having kids at 19, 20, 21. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say, like, I feel like that came from us being athletes and you having a kid is frowned upon and you feel like you couldn't go back to that state of you being 100% at your sport. You feel like you was going to miss out on something with your sport or you wasn't going, so that's how I feel about, the situation. Like, they really down us for being parents.
Matter of fact, you mentioned that with
a past teammate of mine. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
No?
Either
Yes, no?
well, that and Allison Felix, because
Oh yeah, Allison Felix.
Yep. You mentioned that about Allison Felix.
100-yard dasher. She got pregnant, lost her contract with Nike and everything, but then she had her baby, came back, tore it up.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people don't pay attention to the fact that you still can go do it. That's just like, that's the reason why the WNBA included maternity leave.
Thank you.
With full pay.
Yeah. They don't give us no credit though. I know I'm not a parent yet, but I know that it's tough to get back like in shape after having a baby. You have to take care of your baby. You're still going through like, I don't know the word. What is it?
Postpartum.
Like, postpartum. Yeah. So it's like they don't give us enough credit, Paris.
Yeah. Especially even coming up this.
I was thinking about probably like how far into your pregnancy that you could even work out. So
that's a good question.
Not only just postpartum and dealing with that, but just your body being out of shape too. And then having to get your body back into playing shape and timing and all that type of stuff. Whether it's like basketball or tennis or track and field, soccer. Any athlete that's a woman for real.
Yeah. Adia Barnes was like that. We talked about her. We didn't really get to go fully in depth into it, but I love utilizing her as a most recent example because Adia Barnes is the head coach of Arizona, right? And shout out to Ari McDonald, right? For the Atlanta Dream now, came from Arizona. And, she was, pregnant, I think in 2016, right before she got hired. And then they went to the Final Four International Championship this year. But she ended up literally having her baby about a week before they started, like majorly getting into her traveling and stuff. And it was like, I'm still coaching.
And although she wasn't currently playing, like being a head coach of a major Division I program, I cannot imagine.
You gotta raise your kids, then you gotta deal with
kids,
other girls,
your coaching staff,
your staff,
the program,
and you emotional
recruiting, right?
The parents
and the parents,
everybody,
the rents.
That's a lot.
I think
I do have a question too, though.
Come on.
So, what did your mom do when you were younger that you just didn't understand, and now you understand? So I'm about to give you an example.
Please do, because I just ran up. I just felt like I had like 10
I
of them
think
pop
too
up.
much.
Look, I done played, we all done played on a few AAU teams, right? So my mother wouldn't sit with the other mothers. I used to be like, why is my mother not sitting with the other mothers?
Funny,
you know what I'm saying? So like she used to just be like, I just don't sit with them. Like don't worry about it. But she told me why, like, later on down the road, they was talking junk, you know what I'm saying? Like, she don't get into stuff like that. So it's like, all right, now I used to be like, Ma, you weird. Like, why you? Now I understand because, like, exactly.
She was
like
trying
that.
to get out the energy. She ain't want that energy around. You ain't gonna talk about my baby and think I ain't gonna say nothing. All right, I
think
feel like you about to run it up.
more. No, Something
They don't
that
even
was
gotta be
weird
sports
that I didn't
related.
even.
Something that you didn't understand, like, but you woke up to it now.
Mom's had it all right.
Maybe in my eyes she did. She is an angel on earth to me, just being honest. But
And that's cool.
I don't know. You go ahead and share yours. Maybe I could figure something
Oh,
out.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. My mother used to lie to me about the golden arches.
McDonald's?
Yes.
McDowell's.
Yeah, dog. We used to,
McDonald's was good.
bruh, nah.
Back then.
No, I think
They
it was
didn't
just a
want
little too good, and she was over it. So I was as a kid, I used to be riding, and they be like, I mean, McDonald's, they close. So my grandma would be sitting in the front seat while this happening, and my grandma would be like, how long you gonna lie to her and tell her that
No,
McDonald's
24
is
hours.
closed?
I got one now.
And she was like, until she realized that the golden arches lit mean that they open. My mother was mean. Like, to this day, I feel bad. And I think that's the reason
She was
why
teaching you logic.
No, she won't. She was teaching me financial irresponsibility. Take me to McDonald's.
Go ahead, dog.
You got food in the house.
Yeah, we got food in the house. Like, and then when we get there, I don't want this. Well, you ain't hungry.
You not.
No, nah,
Plain and
for real.
simple. You're not that hungry.
I think that was the main thing I probably would say as a kid, and I probably still ain't never forgave her for. Like, I don't know. That's gonna be hard for me.
She
to
saved a lot of money doing that, though.
She probably did. She ain't
That was a
now.
pair of Jordans for you.
Nope. My daddy always had them.
I know.
That's why I'm a sneakerhead now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what mom
damn.
do? I know mom did
Okay,
something.
so whatever you said sparked this. It was one time, I think I might have been like 9th grade, like this before I had my braces and all that. I had some situations going on in there. But I'm in the mirror. I had my little pressed out perm head.
Come on here.
Hot mess. But I was in the mirror with her in the bathroom. And I'm like, I'm cute. I was like, oh, look at me. I'm cute. And she looked at me like, she's like, you're still an ugly duckling. You haven't arrived yet. I was like, my heart.
What?
Right?
She told you mom was the shade
mother-
room before it existed.
So you know what she
know,
taught
Mark.
me that didn't make sense then, but it makes sense now. She humbled me on everything because I definitely thought I was cute. When I look back on them pictures today, I'm like, yeah.
What was I thinking?
I don't even know I had little youngest, little friends and stuff. So I don't know what they were saying, but it must have been all personality. But yeah, she humbled me, man. So I've always been a super humble, like chill. I don't get big headed.
Yeah.
I don't think so highly of myself. Like,
Yeah,
I'm confident,
exactly,
but I'm
yeah.
not conceited. I'm not egotistical. None of that. So I be
Yeah.
chilling. So she got me together real early.
Oh.
Yeah.
Learned
We
that
all
real
need that.
early. Yeah.
We all need that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think, you know what?
Shout out to Bev.
Shout out to all the mothers
Yes.
that are out there. We appreciate you. We thank you. There's never enough words in the thesaurus in the dictionary, whether that's Urban or Webster, for what you have done and what you continuously do. So we know it's late, but happy Mother's Day. We
Yeah,
appreciate
Mama.
y'all.
And can I just add a little tidbit before we
Mama, I
cheers
love
it up?
you.
Oh, what?
I was wanting to say this the whole time, but like we mentioned, you know, all the moms that are mourning the loss of their children, especially to social injustices. I just pray that, you know, God gives you comfort in any moment in time that you need it, and that He honestly gives you peace that surpasses all understanding. That's just something that kind of came to my heart while I was sitting here. So,
Yeah.
so the
That was
moms
needed.
this morning. Yeah.
That
Got
was
you.
needed. Thank you,
God's
Paris.
got you.
Paris.
And that's on
Paris.